UCLA Medical Center. It's ranked among the top 5 in the United States, #1 in the West. Amidst this maze of buildings, you'll find a place unlike no other. This is the Center for Duchenne Muscular Dystrophy at UCLA. Duchenne is the most common and severe form of childhood muscular dystrophy, which, with time, degenerates all muscles, including the heart and lungs. Here, a top team of experts in Duchenne, including cardiologists, orthopedists, neurologists, physical therapists, and scientists, all come together and quite literally form a lifeline for young patients like Alexander, Josh, Will, Dylan, and their families.
This is our place, this is our safe haven. This is where we go for therapy, treatment. Our lives are depending on it, period.
I believe that Will's life has been extended just from the treatment we've got.
Hard to believe, but up until 6 years ago, there were no centers like this on the West Coast. Terrified families, still reeling from the devastating diagnosis, were on their own to find specialists.
It was like a bomb went off in the house, and I had these names, and I asked my parents for money to fly to Washington, D.C.
It feels like your life is over. I mean, it feels like somebody just is drowning you, and you feel like you're suffocating, and you don't even know how you're gonna deal with it or come out of it or go on.
All of that changed 6 years ago when a remarkable group of people founded the Center for Duchenne Muscular Dystrophy at UCLA.
You can just stay right here because we're going to hook you all up.
What makes this place so unique is that here, patients have access to world-class clinical care and cutting-edge science all in one place. You're about to meet the people who made it happen. Not a group of administrators, but a group of friends who just happen to be renowned scientists and clinicians brought together by fate and a profound desire to change the world.
We do. We definitely feel a sense of urgency.
You'll see how UCLA scientists are pushing the boundaries of molecular genetics, cell biology, and translational medicine farther and faster than ever before.
I'm going to show you the tissue culture room where we take skin cells and turn them into muscle cells for drug screening.
It's the stuff science fiction is made of, turning one human tissue into another. But it's happening in Carrie Michelli's lab. She's one of the directors of the Center for Duchenne Muscular Dystrophy.
So for the first time, we've been able to take patient cells with a specific mutation and ask what type of molecular medicines might work to correct the gene.
Here in this tissue culture room, skin cells from a boy with Duchenne are reprogrammed with the help of a virus into muscle cells. This way, scientists can test drugs in a dish instead of a patient.
We are able to use those cells to screen large libraries of chemicals and known drug compounds to identify combinations that promise to correct the gene in the boy's muscles.
We're talking about personalized genetic medicine that could one day slow or even reverse the progression of Duchenne. A breakthrough couldn't come fast enough for Dylan, who's 11. Not long after he took his first steps, Dylan was diagnosed with Duchenne. In the years that followed, the disease slowly crept into his life.
12 and then 11.
But it hasn't defined it. Dylan, an aspiring video game designer, has participated in numerous research studies, and in doing so, he's made medical contributions too.
My hopes are to help some kids and for them to do some research.
There's been a seismic shift in research.
And you're showing that there's a deletion from exon 46 to 51 in this particular patient.
Correct.
Under the direction of Stan Nelson, professor of human genetics and co-director of the center, scientists are developing a new diagnostic tool for Duchenne.
We don't fully understand why some boys are more mild and why some boys are more severe, and we can search through the genome to ask, are there other mutations in the genome that are causing boys' muscles to weaken faster or to weaken more slowly? And those can give us profound insights into new therapies.
Call it genetic sleuthing.
Dystrophin gene is one of the largest genes in the body.
Painstaking work that involves searching through 3 billion bases of a patient's entire genome to find what is called a deletion. It looks like this. The faded area represents the precise molecular cause of Duchenne in this boy.
The technique wasn't possible 3 years ago, and we've already put it into clinical practice.
Cutting edge for sure. Only 10 years ago, the first human genome was done for $3 billion. Now it's only a couple $1,000s, and it takes just a few weeks.
And this creates a very powerful diagnostic where in one test, we can search for all possible genetic causes of muscular dystrophy.
Step 1 toward finding drugs that work.
For us, it was pretty exciting. It was a bit of luck and a lot of hard work, and it's nice to have a hit.
And this is where the story of the center goes right back to the people who started it. Professors Carrie Michelli and Stan Nelson are more than scientists.
To be honest, I was thrilled, of course, to meet Carrie. She was working in the lab next door. It was pretty darn close to love at first sight.
Stan and Carrie are also parents. Dylan's parents, who along with all the others were desperate for answers.
From my perspective, I remember that time crystal clear. There's nothing that will wash away quickly in our memory. But one of the things that we do, we're both fairly analytical folks, and we delved into the literature.
There was so much work to be done, and with their academic credentials, they knew they had to do it. So they harnessed the brain power of their friends and colleagues.
Glycobiologists, immunologists, muscle cell biologists, genomics, genetics, endocrinologists, cardiologists, muscular specialists, nutritionists, nurses, physical therapists, orthopedists.
And STEM biologists, and boys and their families and supporters who raised money for a cause. Center co-founder Melissa Spencer says every day they're getting closer.
I've been doing research on Duchenne for over 20 years, but in the last 5 years or so, there's been a huge explosion, a coming together of industry, so drug companies, academia, and nonprofits. And from that effort, there's been a huge advance in therapies, and now we finally have several therapies in the clinical trial pipeline, which we never did before.
The team's groundbreaking research just made the cover of Science Translational Medicine. Grishal Crosby is a UCLA professor and Duchenne researcher.
I used to believe that when you're working on a human disease, it's better to disconnect the emotional aspect of that disease from your research, that would cloud your perspective. But in my interactions with Stan and Carrie and with Melissa, I've discovered that that is not true, that it's when the emotion and the real understanding of what a disease is and how it affects young people, that has a greater impact on your research.
This year, Josh Bobot earned a bachelor's degree in media arts from the School of Arts and Architecture at UCLA. Will Martin played his 4th year of basketball.
Happy birthday!
Dylan Michelli Nelson celebrated his 12th birthday. And every day, Alexander Laudo celebrates just being a kid.
I want to be in the community where these boys are making breakthroughs. I believe in miracles, and I believe that we are at the place of miracles. I do.